Been calling him brilliant for a long time. That's my brilliant nephew. I said, don't I tell you that? I said, boy, you just brilliant. So I am just happy and tickled that Brilliant is here today. Hallelujah. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Simon Pierre Rollins was born on April the 2nd, 1994. He's the middle of 3 children, and his parents, whom you have met, are Simon and Rachel Rollins, and his sisters are Sabrina Rollins and Simone Scott. At a very young age, Simon began helping his dad with security at First United Church, now known as Transformation Church. At the age of 15, Simon was baptized and filled with the Holy Spirit. Amen. Shortly after, yes, you clap right there, hallelujah. Filled with the Holy Spirit. Shortly after, he then became a member of the Junior Deacon Board at Transformation Church, where he shadowed and learned from other deacons on what it is to be a deacon and their responsibilities. As time went on, Simon became a part of the drama ministry, the video crew, the sound crew, and later the youth staff known as YCG, Youth Craving God. While serving on the youth staff, Simon attended Morgan State University, studying industrial engineering, where he is still pursuing his degrees in industrial engineering and systems engineering. Go ahead and pray. I told you. Simon has always been passionate about all sports, and in September 2017, he became the head coach for junior varsity volleyball and a trainer to friends and family. In January 2018, Simon delivered his first message entitled, "You Can't Lose If You've Already Won." And shortly after, he became a minister in training. I guess so. Yes, the Lord. Everything that he has learned from sports and ministry, he uses to teach and help people find their way to Christ. Simon is still growing in Christ, and at the end of his journey, all he wants to hear his father say is, "Job well done, my good and faithful servant." Ladies and gentlemen, young people, boys and girls, I want you to stand upon your feet, and I want you to receive this very fine, young, up-and-coming minister in the gospel, none other than Minister Simon Pierre Rollins Jr. Come on, let's greet him with a heart. Come on, shout to him, say, "Praise the Lord." You can say it better than that. Say, "Praise the Lord." Amen, amen. God bless you. God bless you, Simon. Preach the word. Well, you got a mic. Okay, good. Amen. Bless you.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Hallelujah. I'm sorry if my voice sounds pretty bad. I was at Hershey Park yesterday and I screamed more than I like to. So, all right. Yeah, I'm good. So good. You can be seated. I'd like to give honor to the leaders of this house, Queen Esther Faulkner, and in his absence, Bishop Faulkner, who's not here at the moment. I'd like to give honor to my parents who are here and my sisters who aren't here. And also my grandmother who is at home. We're moving at the moment, so she's pretty tired. So she said she'll be here in spirit, and I know she will. So, and she just snuck in. I know I'm gonna get her, but my youth staff president, Holly Rose, is here. Now, one of 2 things, I want you to tell your neighbor to get up. Yep, get up. Get up. Come on now, get up. Now, I'm going to explain that in a second. But if you can you please turn to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1 through 18. Once again, that's 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 1 through 18. And for the youth, the title of this message is Unveiling Who I Truly Am.
That's all right.
When you have it, say, I have the word. Okay, it says, therefore, since God is his mercy has given us this new way, we never give up. We reject all shameful deeds and underhanded methods. We do not try to trick anyone or distort the word of God. We will tell the truth before God, and all who are honest know this. If the good news we preach is hidden behind a veil, it is only from the people who are perishing. Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. They are unable to see his glorious light of the good news. They don't understand this message about the glory of Christ, who is the exact likeness of God. You see, we don't go around preaching about ourselves. We preach that Jesus Christ is Lord, and we ourselves are servants for Jesus' sake. For God, who said, let there be light in the darkness, has made the light shine in our hearts, so we can know the glory of God that is seen in the face of Jesus Christ. We know his light is shining in our hearts, but ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing his great treasure. This makes us clear that our great power is from God, not from ourselves. We are pressed on every side by trouble, but we are not crushed. We are perplexed, but not driven to despair. We are hunted down, but never abandoned by God. We get knocked down, but we are not destroyed. Through suffering, our bodies continue to share in the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be seen in our bodies. Yes, we live under constant danger of death because we serve Jesus, so that the life of Jesus will be evident in our dying bodies. So we live in the face of death, but this has resulted in eternal life for you. But we continue to preach. We have the same kind of faith the psalmist had when he said, I believe in God, so I spoke. We know that God who raised the Lord Jesus will also raise us with Jesus and present us to himself together with you. All this is for your benefit. And God's grace reaches more and more people. There will be great thanksgiving, and God will receive more and more glory. I'm sorry this is long, but this is why we never give up. Through our bodies are dying, our spirits are being renewed every day. Our present troubles are small and won't last very long, yet they produce us with glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever. So we don't look at the troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on things that cannot be seen. For the things we see now will be soon gone, but the things we cannot see will last forever. Amen. Now, I know that was a long chapter, but it has a point. And I want you to say again, to get up.
Get up.
With more energy than that, get up.
Get up.
Now, the reason why I'm saying get up is because I'm realizing that a lot of spirits are still asleep.
That's all right.
So we're fighting against the enemy, but he has no competition because we're still sleeping. So then again, how do we wake ourselves up? And for youth, I'm thinking about what I went through. So I'm an honest person, and I hope everyone here, and especially the youth, can be honest with yourself. Does it feel like sometimes that you're trapped in your own body because you imprisoned yourself because of your insecurities? So one of my insecurities was I always denied my family. As you can see, my family is very powerful and very into the church. So I'm like, I don't want to do that. But meanwhile, everything I'm doing is involved in the church. So therefore, I'm limiting myself to what I can really do by not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, if that makes sense. So if your calling is to be a teacher, but you're not practicing to teach, are you really fulfilling what you're supposed to do in life? So therefore, if, say, I'm a teacher, but I'm trying to, let's say, play a sport of some sort, you will never get the fulfillment that you're doing the right job because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm saying this to say, when we're, as being youth, sometimes I can fix myself, and not even youth, I can fix myself. I'm broken, I know I'm broken, but I'm too scared to touch what's broken. But the thing is, we can't fix what we didn't make. So when the scripture says we're like fragile clay jars, he gave us the light. But like any potter, they have to mold that pot. So if we're not the potter, how can we mold something that we never created?
That's all right. That's all right.
then we go to, we have that light in our hearts, but we can only shine when we are answering our call. Just not too long ago in August, our theme was removing our mask and accepting the call. And we can only remove our mask once we identify what our masks are. So that's when we have to be truthful with ourselves.
Go ahead.
My job is to not sit here and make up big words and try to make it fancy. Because while we're playing around, the enemy's out there taking lives.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Now for us, the youth, I could say our hiding is what? Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, jewelry, money. What's another one? I don't know how many times I see people post something that they don't have. Meaning they say, can I borrow this? And post it so it can make me look good. But in reality, it isn't yours. So you're living a false life. I mean, if that makes you happy, which it probably doesn't, probably suffering inside because you're miserable.
That's all right.
If you're not happy with yourself, you can't go anywhere.
That's right.
The number one, if you're not comfortable with being who you are, you won't move forward. And usually when we're not comfortable, we blame people for our mistakes.
That's all right. That's all right.
One of the things I've done, and my dad checked me straight away. I was unhappy with the music. I love to play drums, so I love music. And I was not happy with the music. And he said, you know what, stop complaining and actually do something about it. He said, you can play the drums, so why don't you go up there and play and stop complaining that it's not to your liking. So I'm here to tell you, if you don't like something, don't complain about it, do it. Be that example. Don't be afraid to set that example. It was hard for me to do it, but I know you can do it too. If you can't set the example, how are people supposed to know where that level is, where that mark is? So many times we like to blend in with the trend. There's always a trend out there. With the floss. I used to do that all the time. Some do. With the shoe dance. I know you know this. And I thank you. See this wrong. It's okay to have fun, but it's limits to that fun. You can't do what others are doing. Because they say, I saw her in church, or I saw him in church. But then just the other day I saw him at a club or something, or at a party doing this, and this. They're looking for reasons to shun God, really. In this country, they're looking for reasons to say, this is not real.
That's right. That's right.
What they take God out of the schools, that's one. We try to take God out of the money, that's two. What else is left, really, that we have?
That's all right. That's all right.
And we're letting it happen. Why? Because we're still asleep. So it says in the Bible, so that you are transformed by the renewing of your mind. But I have to put that button there, just so to wake people up. How can we be transformed if we're not informed of what's going on with ourselves? So we can't transform what we don't know or can't see.
That's right.
So therefore, if I'm suffering from depression and I don't acknowledge that I have depression, how can I be transformed from it?
That's all right.
If I'm suffering from anxiety, how can I be transformed from it if I can't acknowledge that I have anxiety?
That's all right.
If I've been abused at home and I'm suffering from it, how can I be transformed if I don't acknowledge and get help? It's a lot of things that are hidden that we don't want to touch because we're insecure about it. We feel like it's a flaw. We feel like people are going to pick at it. And usually, what are the most people that can hurt you? Usually, the people that's closest to you. So your best friends that's in your ear, telling you something that's ridiculous, just because they want to be where you are.
That's right. That's right.
So we have to realize that Satan can only slow us down and distract us from where we're going. He cannot completely stop us. He can see our ultimate goal, even though we can't see it. So he said, let me stop them from getting there before it's too late. Now, as you can see, as insecurities, I believe Moses, he had a stuttering problem, a real bad stuttering problem. Now, who would think he would be the one speaking to thousands of people, relaying God's message? And do you think he wanted to do it? You're like, God, what if I was standing here right now? I can't, and I kept stuttering. But at the end of the day, my message still got across somehow. So when God has a purpose for your life, he'll make sure his message will get across to who it's supposed to get to. So many times, I said this, I believe to myself earlier, that I was talking to someone, trying to work with them, trying to help them. But then God told me that next following day, what you say to people may not be for their ears, so they won't understand you. So therefore, if my message is, if we're trying to work together, and I'm trying to explain something, and it's not reaching that person, it's not meant for that person to hear. So that's how you know that, okay, maybe we're not working. This is not working, like we move forward. Now, the hardest thing to do is to move from a close friend that you had for years. And I had to do so. And actually this year, I believe this year, so many of my friends from last year have been shot and killed. I think it's about 3 or 4. The latest one was, I don't know if you did the one from, she was shot coming out of, I think, a party. She was witness to a double homicide. And somehow the defendant got the list of the witnesses, and they found her, and that was the end of it. And I'm saying, why does it seem like the good ones are being taken away? Why? What can we do, or what should be done? And he said, you're just simply sitting back and you're waiting to the last moment when it's too late. And I'm actually speechless right now because I'm so shocked that it happened. But also to say that you're never too young to be instilled with the Holy Spirit. Never too young to be anointed, never too young to be used by God. Maybe the voices, maybe the ears that you may be talking to may not want to hear it because you're too young. But that's not the case. If you remember, God sent Samuel to anoint David at a very young age. Yes, he did not start at that very moment, but he was already anointed, and he began his quest into being eventually a king. And I believe it's like the king inside of the king is one of the messages I remember hearing. I would think from Bishop Jakes, I believe. Just a lot of stuff going through my head that I'm learning how to control.
It's all right. That's all right.
There's one other thing that is not in here, that it tends to keep happening, is James chapter 2, verse 14 through 16. It explains, without good deeds, faith without good deeds is nothing. And to explain what that means is, if I never worked with my dad in the parking lot, which you can say is behind the scenes, if I never worked with the drama, the sound crew, I never would have seen what it feels like to come from the bottom up. So meaning I've seen the trenches, I've seen the dirty work, the hard work that most people don't want to do because they want that spotlight.
It's all right.
Most people want the spotlight because you're seen. And because you're seen, you can put in, I can get that offering. I can get that new car. I can get that new church. I don't have to be taxed with my money. I can wear that shiny new suit. I can get a nice watch. But the fact of the matter is that God doesn't see none of that at all. He sees none of that. And if you're not doing his work, you're basically useless to him. So many times I see groupies, cliques, that will literally get together, and because you have on something nice, will point at you and make fun of you, just because they don't have what you have. This form of jealousy, hatred, bullying, it's just senseless. Why? Because they're insecure about their insecurities. So they try to pick on you. So you can be insecure about yourself. But that's what I'm here to say. That if you know your insecurities, anything that anybody can say to you doesn't hurt, you bounce right back off. Because if I know my own flaws, how are you going to hurt me? So once again, I'm not going to say raise your hands or do anything. I mean, you can raise your hand for this one. Who has a Snapchat? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Who has an Instagram? Who has a Twitter? Who has a Facebook? You know, that's the old one. Now, on another honest question, you do not have to raise your hands for this. How many of you use your social media to post about church events? How many of you use your social media? I mean, you can raise your hands if you want, but it's up to you. How many use your social media to show what you did for other people? That's good. What are you using your social media for? Are you using it to brag about yourself or brag about the work that God is doing for you?
That's right.
So many times before, I used to be that person. I wasn't annoying because I don't like to take selfies. I can't do it. It's not possible. But I like to take pictures of, take this picture real quick. I look good right now. Like, take a picture. Like, why not? I mean, it's so many likes. Take this picture. Go ahead. And then after a while, I just realized I just feel stupid after a while. Not saying you have to feel stupid, but I just feel dumb. Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I taking pictures to get likes from other people? Like now, like, it's so many, like, I have to be liked. I have to put, if it's not liked, I've seen people do it. If this doesn't get a certain amount of likes, I delete it.
That's all right.
Why are you waiting for approval for other people?
That's all right. That's all right.
We're so picky, and so I want to get liked by so many. I want to be Instagram famous. It's very popular now. There's so many, rappers, artists who became YouTube famous, Instagram famous off of what? If you really listen to what they say, are they really saying anything? No. One person I know who's really ridiculous is, for the young people who know this, Tekashi 6ix9ine. I can't say that, but one of the most ignorant people I ever seen in my life. I don't know what he basically said he is, but he said if people like it, why not do it? So people are really wasting their time liking and buying his stuff because they're bored. So what do we really invest in our time in? We have time, we have money, what else we have? Good looks. What do we use it for? Usually in the business world that I'm learning, somebody told me I would get a job because I'm good looking. So they said they wouldn't get the job because they don't fit the profile. They didn't look at my resume. They didn't look at anything. They said you would be hired because of how you look. So I'm saying, so what if that? Oh, I didn't say that to him. I was thinking because I want the job, obviously. But so just being honest. So I'm saying, so what if somebody was smarter than me who deserves the job doesn't get the job because? So I'm thinking so many times that we're overstepping somebody just because of who they are and what they do. There's so many solid ones in here that I'm sure they're probably looking at now that have so much power in them, but they're scared to release it. I didn't realize how much power I had in me until I believe last year's retreat. I just felt like a bubble, and I was like, what is going on? I started to panic, and I just cried. Cried too hard. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, grown men don't cry like this. Like, what is happening? So, and he said it's about time that you stop playing around and do what you need to do. It's still a learning curve for me. I'm still learning. I'm still understanding because I'm that person who gets 1,000 thoughts in his head and can't put it together at once. But I'm here to say it's not going to be easy. It's not. It's not going to be easy at all. Our goal is to work together. Always get a group of friends that have this like mindset that you can move and do work with. I'm learning to this day that my youth staff, I love them to death. Why? Because we hold each other accountable. Amen. So therefore, if I'm messing up, anybody can come to me and say, "Simon, what are you doing? You're messing up. Like, you're slipping. Like, hold yourself accountable for what you're doing. You can't be in this position and do this." We're taking this position that I'm in right now for granted, only because we're using it to abuse the power and not use the power. The me holding this mic right now has a lot of power behind it, and if I do not use it correctly, it can ruin lives and ruin reputations. And it's so good to see youth that are, like Brother Tom was saying, good to see youth here because you could be out there right now. Easily. The system is made for us to mess up. And especially being a young black male, it's real. It's very easy to get messed up. You can literally be doing nothing, walking down the street, and you get targeted. Literally, it happened to me twice. Walking down the street, lady said, it's a suspicious young man walking down the street, minding my own business. I never told my parents about this because I didn't want them to know. Yeah, don't. A suspicious black man walking down the street, and this is during the day. And so the cops come, he comes and said, "Where you going?" So I just kept walking. I was like, first of all, I was like, what is about to happen? I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. I'm like, so am I going to be shot now? Am I going to get arrested for something I didn't even do? He said, I got a call that you're being a disturbance to the community. I said, a disturbance? I said, I have my headphones in. I'm not even singing out loud, and I'm going to where I need to go. He said, where do you live? And I said, I live literally right there. I pointed to the building. He said, well, just make sure you get where you need to be, so we don't get any calls like this. I said, but I just walked down the street. Like, what, is that a crime? He said, no, but just to be safe. So I'm saying, that goes to say, I'm still confused to this day about why I was targeted. That just doesn't make any sense. But the devil will do every little thing to get you afraid of it. He knows that you're stronger than he actually is. Amen. So that's my point from earlier this year, you can't lose if you already won. He wants you to make you think that you lost. Yes. The most important thing is your mind. If he can trick your mind, he has you. If he can get inside your brain and read into the fact that she can't do this, he can't do this, I'm going to hit his weakest point. What can he not work on? The one thing that I was afraid to work on was sports, like I was saying the last time I was here. How can I get him to fail? How can I get him to fall? I love all sports, so therefore, if he can take sports away, he will want to kill himself. If he takes sports away, that's his life. He's done. If I take sports, what else does he have to live for? What else does he have to do? Luckily, I have church, I have parents who stay with me and pray for me the whole time, the whole way. I just came off of another broken ankle? But luckily, well, thank God, that it was misdiagnosed and I had a sprained ankle. Amen. So I actually sat out longer than what I had to, but when I got back, my ankle was actually fully healed rather than temporarily healed. Okay. So therefore, I know the devil slipped up because he thought he could do something, or actually it turned back on him where it didn't work out. That's right. So the thing is, he'll try to sit you out, but that's only a good enough time for God to say, no, I set you out on my own because you weren't ready yet. Amen. We're giving the devil way too much credit for things he doesn't deserve. Amen. So therefore, if I say, too many times, and that's another thing I hear a lot. We blame the devil's doing this, the devil's doing that. He's hurting me here, he's hurting me there. When are you going to take responsibility that you're hurting yourself? Yes. So if that means you're out getting drunk at night, and you say, the devil, he made me drink too many, and now I got hangover. We're going to take responsibility. That was your decision. We are all held responsibility for our actions, held accountable. So at the end of the day, when you, right at this point, right now, there is no tomorrow, God wants to call us right now, how do you think he'll be pleased with you?
That's all right.
If you was to say, time is up, I'm coming back, is it too late or you think you made it? The questions I ask myself every day when I'm about to do something stupid.
Lesson.
Like even though we feel like we have a lot of time, it's not enough time. If we're going off the book of Revelations, California's still burning. And I'm pretty sure Jesus said, God said, it's going to burn next time. It's flooding. It's flooding everywhere. I forgot the point, I was just talking about it with one of my friends, Malachi. He was saying how the prophecy was an eagle was supposed to look over, I believe, Jerusalem or Israel. And just not too long ago, Trump sanctioned that America is going to look over, I believe, Jerusalem. Now, what is the animal of America?
Eagle.
So that prophecy has already came true. So we say that if prophecies are coming true one by one, why are we still sitting here and not doing anything?
Amen. That's all right. That's all right.
We've gotten too comfortable with having a routine. Our routine is Sunday go to church, Monday go to school, work. Monday through Friday go to school, work. Saturday off, okay, it's time for church again. What are you doing that portrays God's voice? We're so stuck in a routine that we don't even know that we're asleep. Because when you're stuck in a routine, you can do stuff in your sleep. Like, getting up for school, waking up, since it's a routine, brush my teeth, wash my face, do my hair. Ladies, maybe do makeup, and go to school. And sometimes you don't even know, how did I get here? Anybody ever had that moment, how did I get here? I don't even remember driving it, because it's so much of a routine. And routines do kill. That routines give you depression. It sets in that I'll keep doing this and it's over. My life is boring. I can't do this. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I don't feel like doing this. I don't know how many times I said I can sleep for days anyway. But I'm like, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing this. I'm tired. Do I feel like doing this? That means I got to do this. Or when my parents call, I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. Why they call me? That's normal for me, actually. Working on that. But that's the truth. That's just the truth. How many times do we complain about something that we have the chance to do, but we don't do it? So many times, before we can get our big assignment, He wants to test us with our small assignment. So that means if we can't work with the small heights, work with a handful of people, how are we supposed to work with a large crowd of people? You always have to perfect your craft. Perfect it.
That's all right.
You can't get into a biblical debate with somebody if you haven't studied the Bible. How can you prove your point if they can prove your point or twist your words better than you can? So many times people use the Bible for their own personal gain.
That's right.
I mean, and they're to something like, let's see, what scripture do I have? The one that James chapter 2, faith without good deeds is dead. They can say, well, I have faith, which is a good deed, so is that really dead? See how I switch that real fast?
Right.
Exactly. But what the message is really saying is, you can have faith, but having faith means you're going to do the work for God since He's not here. So if you can't do His work, is that really faith? So that means faith means I can walk over here and believe that God's power and point is going to get through to that person, even though I don't think it's going to work. So meaning, so how can the light, faith, so we think about faith, the light that's within us. Sorry, it's going through my head as I speak now. He's speaking to me as I speak. So faith is that light. You get it? Faith is that light. So if faith is that light, how is it supposed to shine? We cannot shine a flashlight if we don't turn it on. Is that correct? So, if we never turn that switch on, how can our light shine? And how does our light shine? By doing His work. So if we're never doing His work, it's about time before our batteries die.
That's all right.
So when our batteries die, can we then use that flashlight? So what do we do when it's a dead flashlight we can't use it? Either you change the batteries, or you toss it aside. Exactly. And if we toss it aside, that means your gift that God has given you has been taken and given to someone else because you don't want to use it. So we're sitting on blessings that can help our families, that can do so much because we're scared to move. It's okay to be uncomfortable because that's where usually is the work that has to be done. Like right now, I'm not as so much uncomfortable because what I went through as far as engineering, I had to do so many presentations that I became comfortable holding the mic. I'm comfortable speaking, comfortable talking, comfortable relaying my point and getting to the point without having all this fluff behind it. So therefore, that was just my course into being where I am today. So it makes me comfortable. Things I didn't want to do that I ended up doing. So once again, I want you to say, get up. Yeah. Oh, you gotta do it better than that. Get up. Yeah. Oh, one more time. Get up. Yeah. Now, are we actually gonna get up? That's the question. That's the question. I can talk the talk, but am I gonna walk it? I can say I'm gonna do 1,000 push-ups a day, but if I don't do it, what's the use? If people say I want to be in the gym, I want to get like this, I want to look like this person right here, comparing ourselves already. But rather, we talk it, but we don't do it. So then I look at you like, oh, what happened? What'd you do? Nothing? No, I didn't. I meant to get to it. I meant to get to it. You know what? I'm going to do it next Monday. I'm going to start. New week, new me. Yeah, no, that's not how it works. If you do not start it exactly when you say you started, you're never going to do it. You have to move when you're called. I found for everyone here, I researched my name biblically. And it's, what does my name mean? Simon means to listen, and Pierre, second half of my first name, means rock. Now when I searched listen, obviously I know what listen means, because I do it every day. So. But then it said listen and respond. I'm like, respond? What does that mean? So basically it says when you hear something or hear God talking to you, move. If you do not move at that exact moment, you'll lose it. So many times I've heard messages that I've written down in my head, and for no reason I wake up and I have to write it down. If I don't write it down, I forgot. It's gone. That one thing that could have helped somebody move is gone. So many people here, one of the main things is depression, anxiety, that kids tend to fight with, but don't want to let their parents know, people who they're watching know, because they feel like they have to be too strong. Too strong for what? They don't want to see their friends having an advantage over them. Meaning, they don't want to see your friends win. And I don't know why. Why are you so bitter that you don't want to see your friends win? And how come you can't support someone who's living in exceeding expectations because you're selfish that you're not there? And the thing is, things don't grow unless you don't plant it. Many people want to plant something and get it that same day. Therefore, if you plant a flower, is it going to grow that same day? That's right. So therefore, if I was going to start right now, put a seed in the ground, it has to take time. It has to rain. You have to nurture it. Some of our kids, now I'm speaking to the parents, not all parents do this, but sometimes we're not planting that seed into our children, so therefore they can never grow into what they're supposed to be. That's right. So therefore, if that seed was never planted, we're still looking at seeds that can't be bloomed or blossomed. Because we want to shelter our kids. Right now, don't want to say it's the age of the young, but it is. The young is our generation that has to push forward. But we cannot leave the older generation behind because they have the wisdom. They have the minds, we have the feet to run. So therefore, if someone older than you tells you something, that makes sense. Because it won't make sense if God is telling it to you. then use that wisdom, use that information, and go forth with it. Because so many times it was a time where the older generation and the younger generation were bumping heads, back and forth. I know that's what we're doing. We're going back and forth. And it wasn't working. We were clashing so much where God just told our whole youth, get together and rally together as youth, and they will follow. So once we did that now, our church now controls all third Sundays. So therefore, we open up with prayer, we run the music, we have the speakers, we are the speakers, actually. And we really control that whole third service where all the other ministers sit in the crowd and get that Sunday, well, not Sunday off, but get you relaxed. Because everyone has to take responsibility. It's that time. It is definitely that time. I don't know how many churches you've seen. There's more churches than Sunday Light is possible.
Listen.
Literally going down the strip alone. So about 7 churches, but like you said earlier, Brother Talk, how many are really telling what needs to be told? Or rather having a church because they can and they want the money. So many times they want to sit behind the camera, be on YouTube. There are even churches at homes by themselves, having churches. So I'm like, what are you speaking about? It's funny, but it's so frustrating because we're taking it as a game. It's a joke, and all the devil's doing is laughing at us.
That's right.
He said, while you're playing this game, while you're playing checkers, I'm playing chess. We're moving, I jump one, head this way. Usually, he's sacrificing his pawns so that he can eventually get our queen.
That's all right.
So,
That's all right.
every time we don't move, someone is being taken. Every time we don't move, a life is being taken. And so many times I had friends that I should have said something to, and it was in me to say it, but I didn't want them to know I went to church. I didn't want them to know I was that deep in the church that I was ashamed of myself and embarrassed. Because people laugh at people in church. Like, you believe in something that's not real. Because they want to prove it by science. But now they can't do that because that's my field. So they can say, science proves this, this, and this. If anyone ever tells you that, just say, science is based on what? A theory. Theory means that it is not proven. So how can you explain something that's not even proven? So if you can't prove that this happened, or somebody told me the other day that the sun was here, sun rays created the world. Exactly, that's what I said. I immediately ended that conversation because that was just the devil wasting my time. I said, so if you don't believe in God, just for the conversation's sake, how did the world come about? He's like, because he believes in the African Egyptian theory. He said, sun rays made the earth. I laughed very hard. I said, so you telling me that you went from not believing in Christ to the sun, the one we're looking at now, make the earth. I said, so how did the sun get there? He said, he didn't say anything, actually. He's like, he said, I said, because you're stuttering, that means you don't make any sense. So you should rethink what you're thinking to yourself right now, because obviously you're confused. There's many of us that are confused of what's actually happening. Like I said, when you twist something, because it was a trend a while ago, church hurt, you can't really understand that you're doing this. So many people expect the church to help you with so much. Saying, I lost my house, can you pay for a new house for me? What? Oh, I don't have a car, can I use one of yours, or can you buy me a car? And so they say, I can't help you, I can't do this right now. They want to talk bad about the church, like the church hurt, like God himself hurt. There's so much things happening. And the last one I'm going to get to, one of my cousin/friend, he said that, I don't know when he was hurt, I don't know how he was hurt, just leave his name out of it. He said that you have a sound mind if you eat healthy. It has nothing to do with Jesus. I said, eating healthy helps. It does help. It helps your system, it helps your mind, but you can't do anything without God. Literally anything. Anything. So therefore, see, if he gets your mind, I pray that you have prayer warriors in your mind, in your circle, that can rally around you and pray that demon out. Because we need to be covered. Our youth, we need to be covered.
That's right.
Because so much junk can be tossed in your ear, and you wouldn't believe how much junk I get tossed in my ear at one day. That is dangerous. It's toxic. It's really toxic. And I know my mom has something called toxic touch. Spirits are real. Spirits are very real. Someone can touch you, and all of a sudden you just have a bad mood.
That's right.
You're just walking around like, I don't like you today. Like, what do you do? It's very real. We can have a nasty demeanor to somebody just because you don't even know why you're mad. Like, you ever wake up and just be angry? Why are you talking to me? Like, just stop talking. It's literally the devil trying to divert your path. Really, anything he can do, he's desperate to divert you. He knows the time is coming up. The time is coming where if he doesn't do this, this, and this, he lost. Every time he said, I bet you, okay, for me, if I had to pick between playing basketball and I guess, I'm gonna be honest, reading the Bible. Like a Bible study. He says, oh, you have a chance here to play with, let's say, Steph Curry, somebody, or go read the Bible. It's gonna be I'm gonna be leaning this way so much, but I'm supposed to be here. So he's going to use what you love the most. He's going to use it, trust me. Lie to you not. I got off retreat, and right after retreat, I got tested so fast. Literally right after that service, he was like, go play basketball. Go when I'm supposed to be home studying. We just been told, make sure you go home and journal what you learned. And I was like, he said, go play basketball. Oh, I'm in there. I'm in there, of course. I'm always in there. Then I realized, I just got off retreat. I can't do that. I can't do that. But at the same way, we have to use the retreat. When we have a retreat, say, pick a weekend. Really dive into the Bible. Really pray. Really go into it. Because you're going to feel so up here that by the time you get back, you're going to feel like, why was I way down here? And he's gonna test, he's gonna laugh. Satan's gonna laugh. He's like, oh, you think you're in the clear now? Because you was supposedly with God? Wait till you come back and I'm gonna test you. See if you really got what you need. It happens that fast. And then closing, all I can say is invest in who you truly are, know who you really, and find out who you are. Invest in yourselves. Stop investing in other people and letting other people waste your time. Amen. There's so many people say, can you come here with me, but when you call them, they're not there. I don't know how many people say, Simon, can you help me do this? I need help moving, I need help with my homework. But as soon as I need them, they don't answer their phones. If we keep wasting our time, we're just wasting our life. It's really speaking facts to where wasting time is very precious. Time is very precious. Yeah. If we don't use our time wisely, we're just wasting it. You might as well just give it away. You are that, might as well be that person at Edmonton, pretty much. You, so much I want to talk about, but save that for another day, if I get that shit. I know that you're willing and capable to do it with God before you. No one can be against you. Amen. Keep praying. If you can, always move. Don't be afraid to spread the word. Don't be afraid to tell somebody what you do on a Sunday or a Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if you feel like it. have a separate Bible study if you want, a friends-only Bible study. Take that initiative. Don't wait for somebody to do it because they won't. If you feel like you have that desire to do something, go for it. Don't waste time because no one else can live your life. Amen. So if you let someone control your life, that's not your life. You're being miserable because you can't do what you want to do. Amen. Go through that rough patch and you got it. And all I can say is thank you for having me.
We've got to get up and let our light shine. Yeah. My God, what a word, what a word. We thank you, God, for your servant. We thank you, God, for how you spoke through him so powerfully. Oh God, let our ears and our hearts receive the word of God that came through this servant today. Continue to bless him. Continue to use him. Bless his home and his family. In the name of Jesus Christ, I decree and declare that no weapon formed against you will prosper. In the name of Jesus.